Yeah.
It's on
Welcome
here.
to the Three Blind Mice show. And with me, as always, Don Nardecchia and Jim Borgia, co authors of our famous
Seth,
book, The Official's
famous?
Tales. Don, take it away.
All right, folks, here it is, Officials Tales, well-written book by the three of us, and it takes us through some of the interesting stories in our officiating careers. And believe it or not, after as many years as we worked, Jimmy had, Jimmy, how many did you end up with?
I had
40,
39.
39? Okay, in
Yep.
basketball, I worked 40. Uh, uh, and Rick, you had 30.
35.
Okay, so there's a lot of years and a lot of stories to be told. The best of the stories are basically the last 7 years when we worked together, and it was as we say in describing the book, everything with the tip of the hat to the Three Stooges. Now I'll tell you, we were dead serious on the court, but
Yeah.
some of the things that you don't see in the locker room, the things that you don't see afterwards, and all is worthy of some Three Stooges antics. And
Yeah.
we tell you how we got started. We tell you how we sustained. We tell you what led up to the decision to terminate the excitement in our lives, and tells you how much the families really played a big part. It's we're not bragging up ourselves. This book could apply to tens of thousands of officials across the United States. We all experience the same stuff. We have the same situations with our families. We have the same situation with coaches, and so it's a fun read and available on Amazon. You go to Amazon and up in the top where it says the search, you could put Officials Tales book. If you go to Rick's website for the book, it's called Rick Hall. Amazing, isn't it? And he'll have a QR code there where you can go to the book. He'll also have the place where you can, if you're watching this on somewhere else, you can check out the webcast and the podcast and look at the back issues and all right there too. So it's selling right now for $16.50. If any of you around the homes where we live would like a book, we can shave a little bit of money off of that for you and save you shipping fees and whatnot. So Officials Tales, it's a lot of fun.
And two other quick announcements. We will be doing some special guest spots in the upcoming shows. Getting really excited about those. We'll keep you updated via the Facebook pages and just follow us. They're going to be very exciting. We're kind of trying to figure out yet whether we're going to do one or so of them live so you guys can ask questions live. The other announcement is we very well could have a book signing here locally coming up in September. Those details are still trying to be ironed out as well. So, Jimmy, you got anything before we get into our topic of the day?
Well, just so you know, I have the most hair, so I would be Mo.
Well, we'll see about
You
that,
you
Curly.
guys fight amongst who wants to be Curly and who wants to be
Well,
Larry.
I am a victim of circumstance, so it could be.
Right.
Hey, it looks like it's a little long right now too.
Yeah, well,
It is. I'm getting a haircut right after the podcast.
holy smokes.
You know what?
That's
I've
what.
always taken this for granted. Where do you
I
go?
said, where do I
Or
go?
what do they use for that? A sheep shears
Yeah,
or what?
that's why I keep my eyes open in the wintertime when I know that the sheep are getting sheared. I stop in, see if there's a possibility of squeezing one more in.
There you go.
It's you never know
Hey,
what the facts really are.
it's the fact that back in the day when I got the nickname Bush, one of my buddies who was the quarterback on the football team, we were in eighth grade, and at that time you didn't think a whole lot about borrow your buddy's comb your hair, and well, when I borrowed it, I'd give him back with a few less teeth in it. And the boys had to say, "Well, I ain't gonna let you borrow mine. You broke it." And then my buddy Jeff Fields, he got the bright idea. That, well, let's get him a dog brush or comb. So I come back in, I open it up, and there it is. And he said, "That's for you, you bushy-haired bitch." Pardon my French.
Shocker.
But hey, even when I used it that day, combed through, I still broke a couple of teeth out of that one. So, but
Holy
I was the
smokes.
first. When they start putting padding inside the helmet, I had mine on the outside. I carried it with me.
Thank God.
So,
But anyway,
and
today's topic actually is a little bit serious. As you can see scrolling along the bottom, there's a big help wanted sign. There is a epidemic of official shortages across the nation, and we're talking every sport. It doesn't matter what sport we're talking about, and we're trying to get into some of the causes of what's causing all this, and then maybe a couple of cures from the guys. We do have a couple of videos that we're going to share with you and kind of give you an idea of maybe some of what's happening out there. You guys have any comments on what you think is causing all this before we get into the videos?
well, when I used to coach when I used to referee down at St. Mary's here in town, they played their fifth and sixth grade down there, and and that court was also used as a room for the cafeteria. Now I allowed the situation if kids stop and he slid maybe 3 feet, I wouldn't call it. But when you have parents yelling and screaming at the kid, you started helping them when they first started to want to play the game. You showed them how to dribble, how to shoot, and everything. Now it's like a relay race. Now you've passed that baton on to their first coach, and now you leave go. You get the heck off the track, because now this person's going to take over, and he's going to teach them the next step of passing the ball and stuff, and being teammates. It's always been, team is not spelled with an I. There's no I in team. It's a group thing. And I had too many of those games where the parents were yelling at the kid, the coach was yelling at the kid, and I'm looking at the kid like he don't know if he should turn left or right. And that's not the way you should have it. I mean, learn the next thing. You learn how to shoot, you learn how to dribble. Now the coach is going to show you how to pass, how to set a pick, and stuff like that. And then again, as he gets the person, him or her, gets to move on to the next level, again, you're going to pass the baton on to this coach, and so on as you get up into the high school. But the parents just sit there and enjoy their kids playing the game. Don't argue with everybody. I looked at some of that, and they're thinking that their little John or little Mary was the best thing that's ever come along in basketball. And yeah, there's been a handful of them. But let the coaches do their job, and let the players listen to their coach, and not from mom and dad. I know you want to help them, and just because your child is the best thing in your eyes, it's been along for a while. There's other kids that are just as good, if not better. And there's the kids that want to be out there because their buddy is. And that's a lot of it, because when Don and I were growing up anyway, hey, that's my buddy down the street. We joined. Same thing in football. You join, and after a few years, and you figure, well, I must not be good enough because the coach ain't used me as much as I'd like to, or what have you. But it's just a thing. The parents got to learn to let go and let the coaches do their job. So,
Don, what do you want to add to this before we start with the videos?
I think the biggest problem that needs addressed is these youth organizations should have some type of code of conduct for their parents. And once those kids advance to junior high and high school, at least in the state of Ohio, and I got to believe that there are some other states that do this too. They have a preseason meeting before they have it fall, winter, and spring sports, and the parents are mandated to attend this meeting. If they don't attend the main one, they have to attend a viewing, a digitally controlled copy of that meeting in the athletic director's office. That's a mandatory thing around the state of Ohio now, and it goes through expected conduct of parents. I think that's vital. Jim talked about parents yelling at their kids, things that the coaches should be taking part in. Those same parents, those kids will enjoy the experience of being out with their friends, fifth and sixth grade, maybe even third and fourth grade, and the excitement of being with their friends. And then as soon as they get in the car, dad lights into them for making a bad pass, not taking a shot here. It breaks down their love for the game. It's no longer fun. They experience their 45 minutes of being with their friends, participating in a game, learning. But then the parents break it down. When the parents holler to the kids, it breaks their concentration on what they're doing. A good coach doesn't yell much at the kids either. They practice. And what I used to see, coaches that yelled the most about do this, do that, hey, this, all those, it's because the coach didn't prepare them well enough during their practices, even at the high school level. If I see a JV coach that was constantly yelling what to do to his kids, thinking, what do they do at practice that they don't know this? So you back that up and you tell the kids at practice what we're going to do. And, the parents don't know what you taught them. They play man-to-man usually at the lower levels to teach them basic defensive principles in basketball. And, the parents see things differently. You don't know what the coach has specifically taught them, but yet you're up there yelling something that the kid hears that's different from what the coach tells them, and they're confused now. They're confused about what to do. That's going to make the kid look worse than if maybe he did miss something he should have done. So, the parents have to find the good in the games and talk to the kids about what they did good first, then maybe say, tell me about this, and find out what the kid thinks about the potty break. But that's one thing. If you have a good code of conduct and a good and the parents abide by that, fine. But if they don't, there has to be some repercussions from the league, not from the coach, not from the official. And the last thing for the official, don't get in a debate. Okay, people, and you're going to see that in a couple of these videos, that the officials give too much credibility to the screaming parent.
Right.
Ignore the parent, talk to the coach, and then turn your back and focus on your job. Don't worry about it. At halftime, if the people talk to you decent, talk to them. If they yell at you like you're their dog at home, nothing. Give them nothing. The dog can't talk back to them. You won't talk back to them.
Now, keep in mind, folks, the average, a span of a new official is 3 years. You're looking at 3 guys that are anomalies. All right. This is not normal. I mean, you're not going to get 3 guys together anymore that's got 100 years experience. You're not. And you'll see in these videos some of the reasons why. And, and for the official, like Don says, it is part of it, but there comes a point where, the administration or whoever's running the leagues needs to control their parents and then that will then control the coaches, and then that will control the players, so that we can keep these guys working these games. So without any further ado, we're going to get to these. Now, these are crazy videos, folks. I watched them a few times with my chin on my chest going, what the hell? And I'm sure you're going to feel the same way. So hang on 1 second here, and we will get to it. Hold on one little second. And away we go. Here's video 1.
Watch basketball referee toss parent out. Here it comes.
Another day, another parent ruining youth sports.
How bad are you guys?
You want to know why referees are quitting and or ceasing their return at this level of competition? Watch.
What was that? You want to watch the rest of the game?
Come on, hey, come on, ref the game.
Throw you out.
Actually ref the game.
I'll throw you out too. I might make you all in. Shut up.
Got her on camera here. I was just watching James, and then
Okay, so
All right, before he starts talking, what is your guys' take on that situation? Jim?
Well, I think when he come over, he shouldn't have been kind of yelling and screaming at the top of his lungs, unless he had allowed this to go on for a while and he just then got fed up with it, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back. If you have that early in the game, you go over, hey, I'm not going to listen to this. I've taken the test. Have you taken it? Some kind of a, remark that you're not trying to be a smart ass, but in the same token, like, coach, fan, whatever the case may be, I've heard enough, and that's it. Don't let it keep building up and then it going off like the referee did. I mean, I think he left it go too long, in my opinion.
Don, what do you think?
Yeah, from what we could see on the video, I think we must have had a jump ball situation down there where a kid kind of got the last kid to grab and yank, probably caused a kid to go down or something. It happens quite often, and truthfully, the jump ball rule says that it happens when there's two teams or two players have possession of the ball to the point where it causes unnecessary contact. You don't want to blow the whistle too early on that, because sometimes it's the second you blow the whistle, there's an easy grab by one of the two players. And it can be, but you can't, and I mean, you can anticipate there's going to be contact, but you can't stop the play by blowing the whistle because of what you see as potential. You have to be ready to judge how severe that is, if you can let them play, and if not, blow the whistle. And you know what? Sometimes they're both still tugging, and they tug again, and if you're not right there to stop it, you see somebody's going to go down. If I was there, I would blow the whistle, and if I see a good tug, I'd use my referee voice and say, "It's over, it's over," and try to get them to relax before somebody does get bounced to the floor. His reaction going to the sideline like that was brought the problem to a head. Again, you should have an administrator. This looked like it was probably some type of a school game, maybe 8th grade freshman. There should have been a school administrator there to stop this yelling. If if this was when it first started, which I doubt it was,
Yeah.
if they would have had a parents' code of conduct, or an administrator would have stepped in and tell them to please settle it down, and do so without using, if you don't settle down, I'm going to throw you out. That gets people worked up. You got to come over and explain it to them, and and let them make the decision if they're going to get thrown out or not.
Got to be a little more approachable, I take it.
Yeah.
So I know that we've covered a lot of these, but there's a theme on why this keeps happening. And I'm going to let you in on the secret. It's the parents.
I will clear the entire sideline because I'm not picking one over the other, and I will send you all home, and they will enjoy the match without you.
Referees in youth sports have had it up to here with the loudmouth dictating parents.
No more.
Let's
Now
stop
you know
for a
why we
second.
don't have referees out here, okay? Because y'all get on up.
Okay.
Right there. That looks like a referee. Now, maybe if it's a league official that is refereeing another game or has refereed a game, but that's not a great time for the official of that game to step over there and try to shut the parents down. Okay, now the guy's got rabbit ears. He's probably 100% right in what he's saying.
Mm-hmm.
But he's 100% wrong for being the guy to get over there. You can go to a coach and say, "Hey, before something more serious happens, can you go talk to your parents?"
Yep.
And maybe tell both coaches, because it sounds to him, he said something about pick and choose if it was both sides or what parents, but he was just going to go clear the sidelines. And sometimes, I have a tendency to think, if it's 2 or 3 parents, you can't tell which ones, and nobody owns up to it. They won't. They think there's strength in numbers behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Clear the sideline. Tell them game doesn't continue until you're all in your cars.
That's right.
And if you're not there in 5 minutes, we're going home. And it's going to be a double forfeit or whatever. Again, if this is a league where both teams are on the same side of the court, or the field, that's good to get the kids away from that malarkey. Because if somebody's parents get the game canceled, the kids the parent, or the kids of the parents that got ejected, or the parents that were cause of it, that kid is going to be ridiculed. He's going to be embarrassed of him, parents anyway. He's going to be ridiculed, and he's going to be looked at as not a good teammate, or a teammate we don't want.
Us and get on the kids and get on each other. Hush your mouths, enjoy the game.
And who can blame them? They didn't sign up to deal with the athletes as mom and dad, or their grandparents, or any of their family. They signed up for the love of the game.
Last warning. Thank you.
Daryl Stidham said parents were the reason he quit. I fell in love with being an official, he told the Post. I enjoy the camaraderie with the other guys. When I played baseball, I was mostly a catcher. Being behind the plate is one of my favorite things on earth. It's pure and simple. Officiating allowed me to stay close to the game and that joyful atmosphere. In addition to regular season games, he also umped all-star tournaments from district to sectionals. Last year was my first year doing the state tournament. It was my goal to work in Williamsport within 5 years, he said, of the home of the Little League World Series. With the ever-present threat of violence, it's just not worth it. I would prefer to stay out of the morgue than be at Williamsport.
Ref tells soccer parent to leave.
10 game, right? You need to act like a parent, okay? No, you're being sarcastic. You need to act like a parent, okay? Because all these other parents aren't doing it. It is a regular game. It's a U10 game. Thank you, okay? Because I will send you right off. If your team is doing a good job, all the boys are doing a good job, you're the only one going at it.
Youth sports is losing referees left and right.
And you are a parent. So you need to act like a parent. Thank you. You need to go now. Bye.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Water break.
Bring it in, guys. Bring it in.
You're horrible.
Really? You're the first one that's ever told me that in 10 years.
Well, then you should be evaluated.
Go ahead. Would you
Because
like
it's
to
not
evaluate
falling
me?
in it, but
Be my guest.
it affects the path of the ball.
If you're gonna keep on talking, you can keep talking walking that way because I don't need to hear it.
I already heard you say that.
I'm sorry.
And it's because of folks like this.
So you can leave.
Well, you're wobbling your head up.
Because you're actually getting on my nerves, so you can leave.
I can tell you sound like you're gonna cry.
No, you're not gonna make me cry.
Don't let him get
I'm
close.
sorry
I'm
that
not
a
trying.
parent your age can act this way towards a young lady for one, and someone who's officiating your son.
Listen, ladies got nothing to do with it. Call the game, call a good game.
I have been calling a good game.
No, you're
I've
not.
never had a complaint.
You have one now.
It's because many akin to the man in the ball cap must have their voices heard and treat youth soccer like the World Cup final.
So
Well,
you can
thank
put
you.
that
I'll
on your
make sure I
record
put that on my Christmas
You
list.
should. 'Cause
See ya.
I'm going. Relax, girl.
Excuse me?
Relax.
And what did you
Oh.
call me? Someone didn't raise you right. See ya.
Okay. Sorry, dude.
Here's your Alright.
I mean, no, don't get me wrong. I think this is, you're talking about a young girl here. She looks maybe what, 14?
Probably a high school
she's-
player.
Yeah, high school, 16. Okay. To act that way, let me preface this by saying my daughter played soccer. Okay. So we know all about the silent Sundays we had to have. Okay. Because soccer fans are the worst. I mean, we know that. Everybody knows it. My whole thing is, why didn't another fan say, hey, why don't you just take off? Stand up for this young lady who is doing her best. She's out there trying to make a difference. And you got this, a-hole talking smack to her that no one of us would have put up with. You can bet on it. And I'll tell you another thing. He wouldn't have talked to us like that. You can bet on it. So not only did he disrespect the game by being an a-hole, he disrespected the kid he was watching, and he disrespected that young lady. And there's no place for that in sports of any kind. So what do you guys think of that?
Well, I think she did very well for herself, but she let it go on too long. The one time she
Exactly.
turned and he said something that wasn't, I couldn't tell what it was, but she turned right around and said, that's it. Once you turn, don't give them the time of day. Don't just turn. And if you're going to get out to the center of the field and they say something that shouldn't be said, then you go. But again, there should be other people there in charge of that league. You're right. Soccer is a volatile game on the sideline. And
I'm a guy that's been there. I know all about it. It's
right.
horrible out there.
And
And I don't even understand the doggone game. For all these years I've watched it, I still don't get the offsides or half of that crap. So so I just sit there with my mouth shut unless I see somebody get taken out. That was obviously,
and I still can't figure that out either. When even at the college level,
I just kind of wonder.
No,
what are they
I'll
talking
I'll
about?
tell you, I would think maybe that girl might have been a soccer player on a varsity team that was filling in for a youth thing, and she knows the most important part of the game. And you have them because you don't have enough officials again because of this guy. That's what caused it to you to go and find somebody that knows the game enough that they can officiate it for the kids. And if it keeps on, hey, in 5 years from now, when they say that most of the people that are getting out of the game is 80% of them don't like to be yelled at. Hey, I can go home and let my wife and my kids yell at me. I have my dog bark at me to get these kids in, because one, they're going to make a little easy money and they're close to the game, and maybe they got a brother or sister or neighbor that's out there, and I'm going to do it because, like it says in our book, somebody asked them to. That way you can play the game. If you don't have officials, you ain't got a game.
Nope. And if you guys think that was bad, wait till you see this one. And away we go.
Did he get hit? Blue? Blue, did he get hit? Blue, did he get hit? Because it's full count. It's a full count. Did he get hit? Why is he on first base? So he needs to come back. It's a full count.
That was great too.
Right. So they switched batters.
Jack, you stay there.
It is a full count. So the boy on first base needs to come back to the batter's box.
He had it as a walk.
Well, obviously he's not paying attention to the game because this is the fourth time.
Okay, how many of you guys think this sounds just like your wife? Okay, here we go.
The count is 3-2. Whatever. You guys all need to pay attention to the game because obviously people don't know what they're doing.
Another day in the life of umpires, having to hear it from youth sports parents.
All right, 1-0. I'm going to umpire this game, this whole game.
Jack, where's the secondary? Hey, hold on, Karen. Ma'am, I don't need you. I don't need you to keep doing that.
Well, then
We don't have no. What we're not gonna do is you're not gonna keep saying this and that. I call balls and strikes.
That's fine.
If I got the count wrong, then the count's wrong.
Right,
But
we're
you're
all
not
allowed to
gonna belittle
protest the
me.
wrong
But
count.
hey, you're not gonna do that. You're gonna be watching from the parking lot.
Can we play ball?
That sounds just like Jimmy.
That's all
Right.
I'm asking.
This parent, like many, many others have displayed, is a masterclass of how to not conduct oneself at a little league game.
Well, turn around, play ball.
Cross some blue.
And I am begging all of you, use the lollipop method, anything. Please do anything to not act like this. Because you see, it keeps happening.
You wanna know what I just told him? If you don't, we already heard you. I'm gonna forfeit the team. We're done. Shut up. Okay.
The game's over.
Okay. Oh boy, huh? Feel better? I feel fine. You feel okay? I feel great. You're in a game for your kid. For what? Yeah, exactly. Because you want to argue balls and strikes in a little league game? Balls and strikes. He walked up like a man to you.
And this guy's a firefighter who protects your neighborhood.
No matter the state, no matter the age,
Enough. I'm not hearing another word of anything.
Then be fair.
No, wait a second. Did you just hear me? Yeah, I heard you. Okay, do you want to have a game here? Quiet down. It's a baseball game.
Hey, stay professional for the kids and just do your job.
Come on.
That's it.
Come on. You've got this.
Because the kids are taller than you?
Wow. See you later. Thanks. Take care, Ariel. Sorry.
it keeps
You see, that's the kind of crap right there. You know, I think he was fine with call the game, be professional, but when she made it personal, that's when it was over.
on happening. In 2019, even Fox News acknowledged the issue. According to the National Federation of State High School Associations, 80% of high school sports officials quit before their third year on the job. One driving force behind the trend is increasingly abusive and belligerent behavior by parents, including verbal abuse, threats, and even fights.
Yep, so I just got done with a game out here, some 12U game. Guess what? Top of the second inning, I just called it because I'm not doing this anymore.
A local baseball umpire took to social media to vent his frustrations with the current state of youth sports.
Stupid ass catcher drops the glove 6 inches because he was upset about 2 calls early in the game. So he drops his glove, I get hit in the face. And then all I'm getting is at by the head coach and the fans the entire game, so I just left. So they can go figure it out and finish that game.
One can relate to the frustrations because parents and players alike have provided plenty of material.
Are we watching the same game, Blue? Come in. Get out of here. Oh, make better calls. Get out of here. I'm tired of it. You're gone. Get out of here. I'm tired of it. You're gone. You're gone. Your vision's gone.
He was heckled previously by this fan.
You're gonna have to leave the park.
What?
Because the umpire threw you out of the park.
No, he didn't. No, he's been making horrible calls on me, so
You need to leave.
I gotta leave?
Yes.
The field?
Yes. Right.
Even though he's making horrible calls on me, I have to let him know.
You don't need to let him know. That's a coach's job.
Where this heckler got thrown out, however, in a follow-up duet on TikTok, the ump and heckler let bygones be bygones. Still, the problem persists in youth sports. In the state of Wisconsin, one head coach would point out how the average crews refereeing various games are over the age of 50. a clear sign of the times. One referee named Kyle Schofield told the Concord Monitor, "Why do you want to be on the field getting yelled at? Or the guy that a coach is confronting after a game? That's a tough sell to a 20-year-old, amen." Though he works in New Hampshire, he told the outlet of a time he was refereeing in Arizona, quote, "I had a guy try to pull a gun on me," he said, thinking back on his time working in the state. He said, "Hey, I have a gun in my truck. I'm going to go get it and shoot you." In Indianapolis, Indiana, more of the same. Kevin Lewis has over 3 decades of experience in the field. He told Fox 59 of the reckless and belligerent parents he has had to endure and readily admits it is a plague on the industry.
So, what do you guys think of that one?
Well, first, I tell you what, if I'm umpiring behind the plate, I don't got nobody behind that fence behind me. You ain't gonna tell me it's a bad call. You're gonna get a different angle. So my first words out of my mouth would be, how could you see it from that angle? It's just like when we're on the basketball court. All of a sudden, the coach that is at the opposite end is yelling at you. I'm standing 2-3 feet away from it, but yet he had a better view 75 feet away. Now, if you got that good eyesight, you got to get a different kind of a job.
What do you think, Don? I saw you writing some notes.
Yeah, it's amazing. I was thinking, just thinking about a situation from years ago down at Crestview Schools, down in the Ashland area. It was a girls' basketball game, and they usually had pretty good teams, but this night they just weren't playing well. I remember who they were playing. Maybe they were favored, but they weren't playing well. And I kept hearing crap from some guy standing on the end line. Now, Crestview has always had nice gyms. I refereed in 2 different gyms down there for them over the years, and they both had plenty of seating. And this guy's standing not right under the basket, because I never let anybody stand in the area of the free throw lane to the wall. That was completely restricted area for anybody. But he was a little bit off to the side of that. And I finally went down to him and I said, "Sir, you can't be spewing that kind of stuff from here." And he said, "Well, I can do it from anywhere." I said, "No, standing at the end of the court is a privilege extended to some people." And I said, if it's not to be close to the officials, to heckle them. I said, so if you don't want to have a seat up there, you can leave. He said, "Well, you're not throwing me out." And I said, "Keep heckling. I will." And so we went 2-3 more minutes, and whistle was blown about something, and he starts again. And I said, "Good night. You're out of here." And somebody from the athletic department came. He was mumbling. He took him out. After the game, the guy from the athletic department came in, and I can't remember if he told me he was the president of the Boosters or the president of the school board. And I said, "Is that right?" And I said, "Then he really had no business down there. If he was trying to get the crowd fired up because he was a person in leadership down there heckling the officials, that's double wrong."
Oh, yeah.
And so he deserved what he deserved. I said, "There's no apology from my end. I did what I needed to do, and that's sacred space to be down there in a gym with that many seats." So, I mean, it's not always the parents, although if he was a booster club, he was a parent of somebody that was an athlete at school.
Sure.
But
I mean,
you just, it comes at all levels. Yep. But the biggest problem in officials' retention is what the parents do. First-year officials are going to grab any kind of an assignment they can get. Listen, most high school assignments are sent out at least prior to the beginning of a season starting. I know it's very different down here in South Carolina, even for football. They find out about, I think they know if what Friday night they're going to have a game, from what I just talked to one of the district directors here, and the state is down like 80 crews statewide for football officials. 80 crews.
Yeah.
Not just one person to plug into one. They take all their officials and put them in groups of, and no crew works together all year. You probably can work a game with different people every week. So they know when they're working, but they only find out about 2 weeks ahead of time where they're going. So I mean, it's a serious problem down here. 80 crews. They're going to have games Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights here to make that work. It's going to be very interesting, and I know I know the numbers are leaning that way in Ohio. The Division II guys are working varsity games because of the shortage. And so these young guys are having more and more games to do at the entry level, which would be, the third and fourth, fifth and sixth. Soccer, there's so many games, excuse me, locally to work in the leagues, let alone all the travel stuff. Stop and think where all the good officials are. The high school varsity games that are played on a weekend, the travel stuff that's on the weekend. So what's left for your little darlings in the third and fourth grade? The little bumblebees out there running around, the fifth and sixth, all that stuff. You're getting not the pick of the litter now. You're getting the newbies. And you keep hassling like that, you're going to start getting newbies at the varsity level as your kids get older, because there's nobody moving up to replace the ones aging out. It's a terrible problem. If you're an official that's starting out, know your rules. Go to your rules meeting and pay attention to the discussions. You can't go in there and start looking at something else in a rule book or trying to come up with a crazy situation to ask your interpreter about. Listen to the common sense stuff that they're talking about, because I found out in my years that the goofy things that happen at the lower levels are the best teaching experience for your varsity level. You see those, the first time you see it, you know it's wrong. You might throw a flag, you might blow a whistle, and hoping for it to come to you until you have to report the foul, the penalty to the referee, or before you have to signal something, either a turnover or a foul, and then you go check it out. How did I handle this? Well, you've experienced it once. It'll be much easier to handle the next time you see it. Those young people go through a lot of that in learning to be a good official. It doesn't come easy. And it comes with a price, and that's a little bit of razzing from the stands. But you got to have the people in charge there. There has to be somebody from the school in that gym during a basketball game. There has to be somebody from the school out by the ball diamonds in the spring. You have to have somebody from the school at the soccer field. Yeah, you've got an athletic director, but, you may have 3 sports going on at once on your grounds. One guy can't handle it. You have to have more help from other administrators in the school. That'll go a long ways. But also, if these youth leagues contact an officiating administrator, hey, can you get me 4 football officials for 2 games apiece on 2 fields for Sunday afternoon? Well, that's a real picnic at 2 p.m. and 3:30 in the afternoon. 2 guys trying to cover 11 kids. Doesn't matter if they're little. You're running around more, telling kids, don't do that. Hey, line up better. Things like that between plays. That's a lot to do. And before a local officiating administrator gives into the call with that league administrator, he's got to question that administrator on how many people they have there watching a crowd. We're not going to expose our young officials to crazy parents, and I will be contacting people that go to work your games to find out if it's done. If not, you'll have to call another association to get your young officials. We want to keep ours. If you don't help us do it, we'll go elsewhere.
Yeah, and I think having your association as your backer, your signer as your backer, the athletic director doing their job and they're backing you. I mean, we had some crazy situations in our book where the athletic director backed us and the league assigner backed us. And I will tell you a couple things in closing here. I talked to a coach. I don't know if he's still a basketball coach in the area or not, but he was with his kids at the rec center. They were there monkeying around for gym class. And he came up to me and he goes, "When are you guys coming back?" He goes, "You, Don and Jim, when are you guys coming back?" And I said, "Well, we're not." He goes, "Well, we need you guys." He goes, "The guys we're getting now, it's not like you guys." And I said, "Well, first of all, you got to understand, we're the broken in moms, okay? We've done this forever. We know all the ins and out of the game. We played the game. You know, it took us a while to get to this level. So first of all, the young guys that you're getting, give them a break. You know, work with them a little bit. They're going to make mistakes. Hell, we made mistakes. Not one of us called a perfect game ever, okay?
I did.
In your mind,
But you do forfeit it after a minute and a half.
In his mind, all the stories we told, you and I were the liars, and he told the truth. So there you go.
And Rick's not approachable.
Yeah, no, I'm not approachable. But an athletic director, step up, take care of things. Do you really want to have sports at your schools? Because guess what? It's coming, boys. You're planting the seeds. Go look at these associations. When we first were in our association, the Bay Area Officials Association, there was well over 100 guys in that association, okay? Between two sports, well over. And I don't know what it is now, but I guarantee you it's not that.
I will say that they're doing a great job of recruiting new guys into the Bay Area. I got a feeling that a percentage of lost officials and the percentage of new officials coming in based on those losses is probably very favorable for the Bay Area. Last April, when I was up for the recent Hall of Fame inductions, I saw the numbers and I said, "You guys are doing something right," and that's very encouraging. And they have mentorship for their new basketball officials, and with Ryan Bowers and Jeff Todd doing that, they're in really good hands. Because there was a day when Jeff Todd came along under us, and we know he's a good guy and a good official. You talked about the coach Sass when you're coming back. When we were coming down the home stretch out, I think Rick and I were out to Western Reserve, and we've talked about Chris Sheldon out there. You know, he's a third generation, highly successful basketball coach in the state, and he comes over to see us. We're walking in for a scrimmage. He says, "Hey, it's great to see you guys. You know, all these young guys coming here." He goes, "They're all buffed up and stuff," and they look the part, and they start reffing, and it's like, damn, why can't we get Borge and Rick and Nardo in here more often? But one other time, too, his dad, we talked about this, and this is a quickie, a big rivalry game, not in a league, with Winford, with Robbie Sheldon, was Upper Sandusky. Their
neighbors.
Boundary lines attach each other. So it's a Saturday game over at Upper Sandusky, and it's really Upper Sandusky always played really dynamite defense pre-Diebler. Okay, yeah. Their kid played solid basketball, really good defense. Robbie's kids played good defense too. They could score but played good defense. This was a ball game. I was working with Marty Campbell from Lexington, and this thing came down to the buzzer. A put-back shot by Upper that went in. Upper wins the game by 1. I mean, the ball was going through the net at the buzzer. So, it's one of those things where everybody's stunned for a second, and that gives Marty and I about 3 steps towards the locker room door. We do the sprint to get off the court and in the locker room. We're not in there 10 seconds. We hear the door open, and we look, and here comes Robbie Sheldon, the losing coach. And I thought, man, before I could even think beyond that, he goes, "Hey, guys, I just had to get in here and tell you." I mean, he was excited, probably high-strung from the other game. He says, "That was a great game. You guys did fabulous with that game. I just had to get in here to tell you before I get back to my team, you guys did one fantastic job on that game." Out the door he went. Thanks, as he was heading back out the door. I tell you, a couple of times I've had coaches do something like that, but you know, usually when you work a good game, you know it, but there's not many people around to tell you. That was one of those nights, and believe me, to the young officials, that some of the crap you take in those younger games, if you stick with it, learn from situations that you may not have gotten right, because it's going to happen that you'll get things wrong.
Yeah,
Learn from it. It'll help you a long ways in your improvement to carry you on for years and be well respected.
Yeah, keep up the good work, guys. Don and I and Jim can't, get behind you enough. We brought young guys along that now work state games. So, and one guy I work with is now a Big Ten official. So, you just don't know. We couldn't be prouder, than if we were their parents. So, just keep up the good work. Jimmy, you got anything in closing?
As I'm listening to Don, you walk into the gym, and when if it's a big game, especially like with what Don said with Upper and Winford, or we would go up in the Toledo area, and we would know that a certain game is a going to be a good game to work and stuff. And when you have a few coaches that after a few years got to know us. When they saw us walk on the court, "Hey, glad to have you here tonight. This game's going to be a tough one." And just hearing that from the coaches, how you are as a crew, and I can walk towards the table to report a number, and I can point over my left shoulder or my right shoulder, and I know that Don's over there or Rick's over there without even having to turn around. You get to a point where you know where your partners are going to be, and then the coaches ain't going to be yelling at you. They might question the call, but then in the same token, they ain't going to harp on it for a quarter or two. We had one down in New London, and we really weren't sure on a call, but when we got back to the locker room, we looked it up in the book, and we were surprisingly enough, we were right. And I went over and talked to the New London coach, who we knew and had played while in our earlier years. And I told him, and I said to him too, I says, "Now, I don't know or not, but I think I'm getting double vision over here when I look over towards the sideline." He says, "I know what you're talking about." And he said, "I'll take care of it," because his assistant was up standing beside him, yelling the same thing he was, echoing what he was yelling about. "I'll take care of it." And he did, and problem solved. You don't have to be like a dictator. Just catch it early. "Coach, I heard you. You got a question? I'll be more than happy to answer it if I can. I'm not listening to you keeping on harping about it. That's not going to happen all night. I'm not going to listen to it. My partners aren't going to listen to it." And drop it. There we go.
Picture of the week.
Move it over a little bit. I can't see.
Not Jimmy in his younger days?
No, that ain't me. Can't be. Where the hell did you get it?
Oh, God.
Can't be?
You sure? You sure that it? Where'd you get it? Move it over that way. Move it over the other way.
Look at that.
No, that's Uncle John.
I know. That's pretty good.
Yeah. I thought I wasn't sure. I didn't think that was you. I thought that was a little better looking, but
Too good looking to be Jimmy. No chance.
It's the genes are there. That's former sheriff in Huron County, John Board, Jimmy's uncle, and he was an official for a long time. So, and that had to be tough when you're the sheriff in a county and you go to referee a basketball game or
Oh, yeah.
umpire a baseball or softball game. But
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
Especially
Ron
down
was
in
good
that
at
New
it.
London area where Rick came from. Right up there.
Well, I will tell you this: at every football meeting we ever went to, anytime somebody had a bad story to tell about, it was always that night at Plymouth. So I can tell you that for a flat out fact. And I was in two associations, the Bay and the Firelings, and they both had the same take. So, with that being said, now that we've ticked off all the local schools in the area, thanks for joining us. And we look forward to talking to you next time. And probably we'll have some new guests with our show. So,
or at least we'll have a lineup.
At least we'll have the lineup.
Hey,
So
and as if you're a younger official watching this podcast, I know I've said something to Rick and Don that, hey, you know, we ought to talk about some of the good places to stop and have a little refreshment and something to eat after the game. So I know one time we took a couple of young officials stuck around and watched us because they had asked where to go while we were in New London. We told them the pizza box right there in the corner, right where you come into town after you go over the tracks. I knew the people. They're the guy's wife was related to my aunt. Always go in there. Always got the sub. One night, Don and I were coming up from either Ashland or Mapleton. I can't remember where, but we made the call to the pizza house and say, hey, we're on our way. Can we still get a pizza? By God, when we got there, it was ready for us. So
Yeah, I'll tell you about the time we stopped someplace and there were 4 Elvises in the building. So that's a story that we'll go another time with. That's
Right.
one of our favorite stops.
But just remember, if you're going to get gas and it's after 10 o'clock, make sure you have a credit card.
Right.
See you,
Right.
folks.
Yeah.
Right.
It's in the book.